Okay, today I'm really proud of myself because I have consistently pushed out a video every week for the past 15 weeks while juggling my life as a startup founder. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Before I started, I thought I would spend 10 hours a week working on these videos, but it turns out I spend about 2-3 hours max on a video a week. What's my secret? 5 core principles and my handy dandy Notion. I'll show you how I hyper optimize my content creation factory and compound my growth as a creator with my Notion databases, including YouTube nuggets of lessons, my content production pipeline, my frameworks repo, my content creation database and templates, and many more. Let's go! So as you know, I am a founder first, a creator second, and I wanted to make sure that I hyper optimize my system for creating videos so it didn't jeopardize the time that I spent on my startup, which is my primary thing. I actually took classes such as Ali Abdal's Part-Time YouTuber Academy to learn lessons from other students that were also doing creation and YouTube part-time. And here are my 5 principles. 1, a reminder that memory is such a fickle thing. You see in my Notion database that basically everything is there. And I have all these frameworks, templates, and databases to make sure I'm remembering things in the context of what I'm doing. Second is compounding growth. You hear me talk about this basically every video, but I always want to make sure I'm growing 1% every day, every week, in anything that I do. Number 3 is removing repetition. And what this Notion database and my templates and my systems help me do is remove all the things that I'm repeating so that I reduce the time making the same things over and over again. Number 4 is batching. What I'll do for every 4 videos or so is I'll set up 2 or 3 hour chunks of time to do just one task. That might be filming all in one go. So you'll see me wearing the same shirt in a couple of videos. I notice that now. Or that might be scripting several videos all in one go. I want to make sure that I'm focused on a specific type of task so I'm not context switching and wasting time. 5th principle is delegation. I could not be where I'm at in my creator journey without 2 awesome people, Misha Reyes, my sister, and Zarcal, my awesome editor. Thank you so much for all the work that you do for my channel. I could not be here without you both. I highly suggest delegating some of the tasks that you're less of an expert in and ask help so you can help yourself. That's it for the 5 principles. Let's get into Notion. All right, to start, I'm going to give you a quick tour of my main database. This is the mega database of all the ideas, videos, edits, scripts, etc. that I have for my YouTube videos, plus now my newsletter and my tweets. A quick tour. Here is the name, which corresponds to topic of something I want to write, script, film, post a video of, etc. Here is status, super important for the content production pipeline. I will talk more about each of these statuses in a bit. Here is category. There's tech, career, productivity, personal finance, and sometimes I'll add in the little bit of fun that I want to put in my channel. Here's the target publish date, really important for when I have my content calendar, which I'll show in a bit. And then, as mentioned, platform and type. So I have YouTube long, YouTube shorts, newsletter, and then Twitter. Pausing here, I want to give a quick reminder to please like and subscribe this channel. The likes and subscribes help this channel a ton, and I'm happy to answer any questions that you have or any suggestions for content if you comment down below. Thank you, and back to regular programming. So let's focus our attention on this spot over here, the YouTube content production pipeline. As mentioned, one of my principles is batching, and this drop-down structure helps me do that. For the first step in my content production pipeline, which is generating ideas, opening up Ideation Nation. Here is a similar database that you saw a while ago for content creation, except it's filtering out only for the statuses that have high potential idea or no status at all. So what I'll do here is I'll dump any of the ideas that I have in that moment. So for our characters, Anna and Elsa, let's say we're going to make a video about why you should watch Frozen. If I go to this database and actually think, wow, this is a really, really good idea, then I change the status to high potential idea. And now we have that idea up over here. So I have another few hours to batch my research time. I come to my production pipeline and I open up this dropdown. And here is the title and thumb research dropdown. So you can see I have the high potential idea and title and thumbnail research column here. After I do a little bit more filtering, I decide, okay, I want to move this high potential idea, why you should watch Frozen, over to title and thumb research. And I'll do research for everything that is in this section over here. So let's say I'm ready to do research on this one. I'll click video content template, and boom, here is the master template that I have for this video. As you might recall, one of my principles is compounding growth. And so I already have guidelines for what makes a good title or thumbnail here that I've collected through courses or tweets or my own research. And it's a synced block that's actually synced in all my other video databases and my frameworks repo, which I'll tell you more about in a bit. So what I'll do when I'm doing title or thumbnail research is I'll look at these what makes a good title principles or what makes a good thumbnail principles, and then I'm able to do better research. So let's say I come up with a few ideas for both title and thumbnail. And boom, I was able to think of title ideas and thumbnail ideas and strengthen it with some of the principles that help make a good title. Of the title ideas, I'm going to choose this one, controversial. What I'll now actually do is I'll tag my thumbnail editor, aka my sister, to help me out, or I can already start doing the thumbnails as a batched task as well. What we do to systemize our systems is I actually have a thumbnail repo on Google Photos where I dump different phases that I've taken all in one or a couple goes into one place. And then what my editor will do is download one of these photos and then go to this website called remove.bg. Super great website, removes background images with AI. I can upload the image and I'll get a removed background. Go to Figma where we edit all of the thumbnails in one go. Copy paste the photo. So basically just have this remove.bg remove background photo, put in text, and I can edit as needed because this is text that's editable. And then I can download and use this as thumbnail. Hooray! Just coming back to my content production pipeline after I've done the research and tagged my thumbnail editor, then I can move this over to ready to script. And then I'll batch work on these things that are ready to script. Sometimes before I do that, I want to make sure that I plan my month out of videos. So I come here and I can basically drag and drop this set of videos that don't necessarily have a title yet. So I'll put it over here and put it over to my calendar where I think I'm going to be publishing so that it automatically creates a date. And my team can also come into this calendar and see, okay, I need to get ready for this video that's coming up on the 30th. So now we have the database that is ready to script. I will focus my attention on the very right side over here. So I fill out these sections. Creator goal for the week. This is basically something that I want to make sure I'm doing every single video or every single week so that I'm compounding my growth. So sometimes it'll be get 100 views in the first day or keep 30% retention. Anything that is more meta, something that I want to make sure that I'm achieving as a goal for myself for this week. So over here, I've started doing this hero's journey arc for each video. Let's go through it with the example of Anna and Elsa. I'll fill this out to the best of my abilities. To be honest, sometimes I don't know how best to answer these, but I do think it's important to think about each video as a story that I'm crafting with these questions forcing me to think more about it. What is the main takeaway? I'll integrate this section as part of the conclusion of the video or a thread that I want to be sharing throughout the story. So the main takeaway for this is watch Frozen, even if it is overrated. Boom. And then once I've kind of gotten an overview and thought deeper about this topic, then I can think about the content outline, right? And I have a reminder over here to think about it as a rough first draft. So I can just take everything from my head over to this Notion database. So boom, let's say I dumped everything in my head over onto this outline. I'll then move on to scripting. All right. For scripting, I have a drop down, which I can then focus on just writing the script out. Similarly, I have a template within the scripting template. So I have guidelines for how I can best script write, which is in the context of me actually script writing. I also have hook suggestions here, which map back to frameworks that I already have. And every time I update this, it updates across all of my Notion databases. For Lou, who is my awesome editor, I also have some checklist items for her as she's going through some of the edits. So it's all here. There's also some best practices for scripting and editing that she can reference here anytime. What I'll basically do is copy paste my content outline over here to the body, and within each section of the body, I'll put in some suggestions for B-rolls. I'll highlight it in yellow so that my editor, Lou, knows to check this out as a suggestion for B-roll. And then I'll start from top to bottom. So I have the hook and I type what that 10-second or 30-second, if I'm really structuring it, hook is going to be so that people keep staying on the video and wanting more. I'll also try to give suggestions for the B-roll here. I have an intro that is basically the same thing all the time. So I have it in my frameworks repo and is also a shared block over here. And body, which is basically the chunk or the value of this entire story. And then end with my conclusion or takeaway, which I'll draw from my main takeaway, but make it a bit more extensive. I also have end scenes pretty much similar for every video. Right, let's say we are now done scripting. I'm gonna change this status to ready to film. And what I'll do is I'll do my whole setup, open up this script section again and read through my script. I just like bullet points so that I can improvise in the moment and I don't necessarily have to memorize and spend that much time memorizing beforehand. At the moment that I have a more stable living situation, I'll probably set up my cameras and everything. Right now, iPhone has pretty good quality and is really great for the nomad life. What it's also really great for is I can immediately sync my photos and my videos with my Google Photos and videos and create an automatic album. So in Notion, I have all of these albums that were synced directly from my phone to a Google Photos album. What I'll do is I'll just share this album over to my editor, Lou, and she will get a notification and access to this link, which then signals to her that this video is now ready to edit. So editing time. As mentioned, I send the Google Photos link directly, and she'll get a notification, but I'll also change it up over here so that she knows that it's ready to edit. And I'll also link the Google Photos link that I just showed you over on this assets section, so it's easily accessible for her when she starts editing. What she'll do is look at this script and look at the Google Photos video, stitch everything together, and look at the different notes that I've highlighted for her. Then what happens is she'll tell me, hey Mika, ready for edit. Here is the first version of the video. I'll then go over here and open the drafts section and I'll type the time and my comment. I'll do it for different sections and different notes as I see fit. Impressively, when you first started, there were about like 3 or 4 drafts that were a part of this process. But now we've basically optimized it to just 1 or 2 drafts because we each know each other's styles. Similar to a thumbnail repo, I also have a B-roll repo on Google Photos, which is a dump of random videos that I shot that correspond to some topic or some related thing. So this is food, this is socials, a lot of videos of Nick. Dun, dun, dun. Last parts of the process is publishing and post-publishing, which I'll talk about in one section. So when I'm ready to post it on YouTube, I come back to this titles and thumbnail section here. I copy paste the title that I thought about and agreed on and make sure that it still matches closely to the content of the video. I'll also download the thumbnail that is on Figma and I'll upload it over to YouTube. What I'll also do is copy paste, if needed, the description over here. For the most part, YouTube allows me to automate this already, so I haven't been doing it much, but it's a good reference regardless. I'll copy paste some of the keywords. And I also have a publishing checklist. So just a few things that I make sure I check off at the moment that I do publish, just in case I forget it. I'll also do a post-publishing checklist and post it on many different channels. I'll admit that I've been pretty shy about posting my content in social media channels, but if I want to continue being a creator and putting myself out there, I need to get over that hurdle. It just takes time for me, admittedly. Anyway, I will go through this post-publishing checklist and remind myself to do some of these items. And then I'll switch the status to ready to post-publish or ready to publish as needed. Or if it is already done, then I'll click done and I'm good. Just a cute thing that I like to do that I learned from some YouTubers is this wall of fame, which basically shows all of my done videos in this cute little gallery form, so I can be proud of all of the videos that I posted. Here is the Why You Should Watch Frozen one. I basically just copy paste the thumbnail and boom, it shows up as part of my wall of fame. Two more databases I want to show. If you watch my previous Notion videos, you'll know that I use nuggets of lessons for basically everything. Here's my YouTube version of it, where I categorize it to editing, discoverability, filming, story, and scripting. I'll basically dump all of my tidbits of lessons here and categorize it appropriately. I also have this checkbox column, which I check off if I have done the action item equivalent to that lesson, or I've done something to make sure I remember that lesson over time. Which brings me to another database, which is the frameworks repo. So over here, you'll probably recognize some of these frameworks. I put in my intro or my what makes a good title, what makes a good thumbnail, guidelines, hook suggestions, etc. all on this frameworks repo. If, for example, I want to make a change to my introduction, or I come across a new piece of advice or lesson, I can just come to frameworks repo, open up the specific dropdown and write everything here. Then it's going to update across all of my databases wherever I place it, which is in many different places. You can use the concept of frameworks repo for content creation, for your startup, or your life, basically. Been in my channel before, you know how I love Notion. This content creation Notion database is just one of the many Notion databases that I've put in my channel. I also have my small team or startup or small business Notion database, my personal dashboard and personal Notion use cases, and my Notion for couples database. Let me know in the comments below if there are specific Notion use cases that you want to learn more about, or suggestions for more topic ideas for me. Thanks for being here, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye! That's my nails. No! What happened? Good job, that's the one. I want to thank two other people who were very helpful in the creation of this video. Elsa and Anna. Thanks, y'all. Bye!